Hey guys, what's happening? Well, anyway, I'm back. I know it's been a long time since I put out a video. I think it was back in September and it's March now. Well, that's back to change. I'm going to start adding some more vids to my channel. But my channel's going to change a little bit. It'll still be called Captain Knots and everything, but it's going to document a little bit more of what I do day to day. More of a vlog, I guess. You know, not just so concentrated on fishing, but it's going to concentrate on what I do daily. I not only make fishing lures and do a lot of fishing, which you guys are familiar with, all my old subscribers, you guys know kind of what's going down. But one of the reasons I haven't made a video as long is because I've been busy with my other passion, which is woodworking. And, here in my little small shop, I produce a lot of little things. I sell on my Etsy store, which is called Rainy Day Woodworks. And I kind of want to incorporate that into my channel a little bit too. There's a lot of, things that are, the channel is more not about Captain Knots and fishing, more so than just kind of, a document of kind of the things I enjoy. And then hopefully there's some other people there are out there that'll enjoy them too. Man, that was a wreck. Look what happened. The cat happened. That was what all that noise was. He just knocked a bunch of lures off up here. Good Lord. Anyway, so that's what I have to deal with around here too. Is he is a pain in the ass, but he's a pretty cute cat. Anyway, so like I said, more videos are coming. I just want you guys to kind of, keep an eye out. Like I said, I'll be doing a lot of stuff like working on the lathe, doing some bowl carving, spoon carving, walking sticks, as well as the fishing. The fishing's not going anywhere. It's just going to be among other things that I do. I enjoy doing these things, and I just want to document these things rather than, just trying to focus on fishing. God knows there's enough fishing channels out there. But anyway, thanks guys, and I'll have some stuff here on in just a little bit. You can check it out. All right, guys, so today we're going to be doing a little bit of power carving. We're going to power carve a shallow bowl out of this beautiful piece of walnut here. This came off of my friend Dan's tree. I've had it for about 2 years. Put some wax on the end grain after we cut it just to stabilize the wood a little and make sure it didn't evaporate, the moisture didn't evaporate too fast that would cause more cracks. We did have a little bit of cracking on each end, so we'll take a chainsaw and lop those off, and then we'll get into the actual power carving of it. Before we get started, we'll definitely safety first stuff. I got a smock to keep the chips off of me. It's not necessary, but it does help, man, just keep the chips off of you. Also too, safety glasses. I got a bandana for, so I won't be breathing stuff in. Probably an RZ mask or something else like that would be a little bit better, but I'll be wearing a face shield too, and protect against big chips coming back off at me. And then the safety glasses help from any smaller dust getting in my eyes while I'm working. The bandana, like I said, again, it helps me a little bit. It doesn't fog up everything is bad inside of all this. So I generally use the bandana. Like I said, there are better options out there for particulates and stuff. Just do a search on Google for what you need and stuff and everything. And I got all those masks there inside, but like I said, I usually use a bandana for this part. There's a lot of big chips involved here, not a lot of real fine dust. So, but just, keep yourself protected. So, definitely when you start any kind of power carving or any kind of woodwork, really. But anyway, we'll get into carving this bowl out here, and just keep on watching. So what I have here now is pretty much just where I've hogged out, you know, with the angle grinder. I'll talk a bit about some of the tools I'm using here. But I've got pretty much my rough out. Everything's hogged out, you know. We might hog out a little bit more. It's still a little thick here in the middle, but I'm going to start shaping though first and then see if I need to take any more out. I need to start shaping the foot of the bowl itself and how it'll sit, so it'll sit nice on the table and everything. So let me show you what I've been using here. Angle grinder. I've got, I think these are the King Arthur Lancelot. It's essentially a little, as you can see, little chainsaw blades. You know, these are actually two of them that double up, and I use this to hog out stuff. If I'm doing something like a little bit more finesse, then I'll just take one of these off. I think they come in 22 and 22 teeth, and then I forget the other one, but it's less teeth. So one's like a little more finesse, one's more hogging, but I'll use them both in tandem and to really make fast work of getting some of that material out of there. Next, what we're going to use is also by King Arthur Tools. This is the Holy Galahad. It is a burr. It's a rasp burr, and I've used this one a whole heck of a lot. You know, and they last. Man, they last a long time, you know. And this will next. You'll see me shaping with this. It has the holes in it, so I can actually see as I'm using it, kind of what's going on with the work underneath and material. So I'll get that put on, and then we'll go back to shaping this thing up. Alright guys, so here is our wooden dough bowl. We're going to do some magic here on it in a minute and put the oil on it, but yeah, it's sanded there. I didn't do hyperlapse when I was sanding, and there's only like a little bit of footage there with the sanding just because my battery went dead on my phone, which I used to do the hyperlapse. And but I'll get into more about the sander that I was using. You know, I'll get more into that in another video. But I'll talk a little bit about the design of this bowl. It's a Appalachian dough bowl style. This is kind of a really rustic style of bowl. Very typical of, you know, early Appalachian mountains, and they would hand hew these bowls out of logs. And like I said, it's called dough bowl, so they can work dough in them, you know. They can get big. They can get really big. I've seen dough bowls that are, some of them 3 feet long, you know. It's like, you know. But this is a, you know, today's version of it. So I'm going to put a little oil on this. It's not done yet. And I'll also, you know, when I'm totally done, I'll put my name here on the bottom, you know. During the process of making it, man, it was, it all went pretty smooth. I got a little thinner than I would have liked right here, but it's not, it's strong and it's going to be fine. But I would like to have left a little bit more on down here in the trough, just because, you know, I wanted to be able to work that with the sander a little bit more. But since I got a little thin, I didn't work it with the sanding as much as I probably could have. But, yeah, like I said, this is a rustic old bowl. The design I kind of went for, you know, a lot of my bowls and stuff that I do is I kind of like let the wood dictate a little bit about what it's going to be. I did want to do a dough bowl with that shallow, you know, style today, since with the piece of wood I had to work with. I decided to leave the natural sides on this bowl. I just thought it was going to look neat, you know, whenever, you know, I could see this maybe in a nice table setting in a real rustic home, or even a modern home sometimes can fit a nice rustic piece in there, just kind of throw things off, you know, a little bit. But anyway, let's put a little bit of oil in this, see what it looks like. Actually, you know, I usually do a couple of oilings, and then one I'll do, I put a little walnut oil in this thing, and one oiling that I do first is I'll oil it and kind of let the grain raise back up a little bit. And then I'll come back and sand this later on with it down to 320, and then also, too, the oil will show me any spots here where I need to work on or anything like that I feel like I need to work on, you know. This one's probably not going to take too much, like I said, 'cause it's going to be a really rustic style bowl. But as you can see, the magic, this is my favorite part, is putting that on and seeing all the beautiful grain that comes out in the bowl, you know, whenever you get done, you know. You kind of get to see what you kind of really get to see the beauty of the wood a lot. And black walnut is probably my favorite, because there's so much that happens and so many different darker tones to lighter tones that go on in it. It's usually a really beautiful piece of wood to work with if you can get a hold of black walnut. You know, I'm lucky in my part of the country, black walnut's pretty abundant, you know. Some other parts of the country, not so much. But I can usually find it. Somebody usually has a walnut tree they've chopped down. Actually, you know, this was a friend of mine. He knew I did some woodwork, and they had one that fell, and during a storm, he said, "Hey, if you want some of that walnut, come over and get it," you know. So, but, you know, anyway, like I said, oiling this thing up, using some walnut oil. I'll let this sit overnight with this first oiling on it. And then I'll let like I said, the grain raise a little bit on it. And then I'll come back with 320 and do a little more sanding on it, you know. And once I get it down to that 320, and then I'll oil it one more time, and then it's done. But like I said, sometimes I'll leave them at this point. A lot of times I'll look at them overnight, and the grain didn't raise a whole heck of a lot, and it just sucked up all the oil real nice, and it kind of gives me the look I was going for, you know. Or so it could possibly get a second oiling. But anyway, for right now, there we go, man. I'm really liking this. It's really turning out nice. Like I said, it's a really big dough bowl. So anyway, I'm glad you guys watched today, and like I said, hey fishing guys, I'm gonna be doing a little bit more of this on the station, or on my channel, and you know, kind of incorporate both. But in my next video, we'll make sure we do a little bit of fishing. Anyway, catch you next time.